got a bit of a privilege today. The man, the myth.
It's a privilege for me, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, huge privilege.
Joined by, well, you can describe him. You can introduce our man today.
The bendy man.
The extremely bendy man. Is Juzzy Carter.
Gumby.
How is, what do you think of UK grime?
UK grime. Oh, man. Jesus Christ.
Because he did listen to the Birmingham Cypher, the Red Bull.
Infamous, I'm sure.
Yeah. You enjoyed the video though, right?
Oh, I'm not the biggest fan of the 360 video, but I'd have to say this did change my mind.
Yeah?
It gave me a new perspective.
Okay,
sick. How it can be even more shit than you might originally think.
The bendy man.
We're going with the bendy man, because I get called Slender Man for having long limbs, but you're hip abductors or flexors. I mean, you've been in some awkward positions from riding.
See, I don't like stretch ever. Like I
you
should.
Don't?
No, I don't. Like
so your body's just capable of almost doing a 360 rotation from the hips.
I'm gonna be fucked when I'm old. to be brutally honest.
I think we all are.
You know when like your parents were always like, "Oh, don't make that face because it'll get stuck when the wind changes." Yeah. What if you land like a frontside hurricane combo? Land like this, and then you're like
just stuck there.
You get to the age where you go, "Oh no, help!" and you're literally just like
just be walking backwards for the rest of his life.
Forever position.
That'll be it. Have like a really funny shaped wheelchair.
I'd have some great cover photos for the rest of my life.
Why can you get away with that? How does that work?
It's not intentional. Like that's like I have kids like every couple of days asking like tagging me in clips like Juzzy Carter landing or something like that. But I don't intentionally land like that. It's literally me trying as desperately as I can to spin my body
and to roll away,
having to land that way to get away with it.
And also the kind of shit you do when you're gonna just there's only one way to land that.
I mean like I can't spin like the top half of my body also, so I have to like just get the bottom half and hope my spine stays intact.
But we've seen you do obviously the weird, like you almost do a 180 and then you pull it straight back round, and you've done it out of rails and stuff. Did you start learning them because of the way you was landing out of tricks essentially, or did you just one day thought, fuck it, I'm gonna stop doing a 180 and land forward again?
Nah, that one was definitely like a skateboard influence trick.
Sick.
I think I saw this one, I can't even remember. It was this front side, like in Barcelona, the wave spot to like over the rail. I can't remember who did it. Nah, this guy did a front side flip and then just shifties it back.
Oh really?
I don't even know why I can't remember his name. I love this skater, but it was awesome. It was like perfect front side flip and then just shifties it perfectly back, and I was just thinking, damn,
I bet that looked fat.
And I was just like, that's just like, there's definitely like, that's a lot of my like inspiration, I guess, with like riding, is like watching skating and then thinking like, how could that be kind of replicated, or like how could you kind of learn off that or like add to something like that. So that
any skaters in particular that your go-to watch would be?
At the moment, there's this guy, Matt Tomasello. Have you ever heard of him? Have you ever heard of Fancy Lad Skateboards?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, super weird, like spontaneous, crazy skaters from like Boston. But this one guy, Matt Tomasello, I reckon you would have seen him. He has like two boards and they're like kind of taped together, and he'll like kickflip and one will like wrap around the other one. What I'm explaining probably makes no sense to anyone, but he does some like super creative shit like you just could never think of. Like he did this clip yesterday where he like jumped up, threw his board down, and there was like a spring on the bottom of his board, and then it bounced up.
What?
Yeah, they caught it back.
Yeah,
like
that's
wild. Basically,
that one I don't think I could replicate. But
you never know, mate.
Yeah, he's very ingenuitive. And
so, have you always got influence from skateboarding? Because one thing that I think is, you're very clearly Juzzy Carter nowadays. People know exactly what they're going to get when they look at you. They go on your page, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to see some mind-bending shit, creative, streety things. But you weren't always that kind of rider, right? So back when you were on Grit, I believe, like, I don't know when that was. It must have been like 7 years ago, 6. When was that, firstly?
Grit, I think I left in about 2013.
So back then, were you still, I'm assuming you didn't get as much influence from skateboarding back then?
Yeah, I always, like, when I first started filming edits for Scootering, like, which is like maybe like 6 months to a year into when I started, that was like, because I always wanted to film like a video, because I skated for like 7 years and I never really filmed a video. And like when I started filming for Scootering, it was like, I want to film scooter videos like the skaters I've always watched, So, but there was never influence per se as like the style of filming, the style of tricks or anything like that. It was more just like filming in general. But yeah, I didn't actually start kind of changing things up after grit. I think I had grit and then micro for a couple of years after that. And then Mad Gear for maybe like 6 months, and then that's when I kind of changed everything.
And what made that happen? What? And also, when you went from being so-called park, I hate this division, but when you went from being park to street, just to simplify it.
Yeah.
Is that when it went from Justin to Juzzy?
Nah. Nah. Funny enough, I was that loser who gave himself the nickname.
You gave yourself the name?
Yeah, but not then. Like, it was like when I was like 11, and it was when Justin Bieber was at his peak in popularity, and I didn't want to have the connotation of Justin Bieber. Right? Because you're just entering high school and you introduce yourself as Justin, and you know the story. So I gave myself that nickname to defer the conversation.
All right. And so
to go off topic.
No, we do that a lot. We're good at that.
We're good at that.
So yeah, what was it that made you go? Because obviously it's not an overnight thing, right? We talked about it recently. Increasingly, riders are switching between the two more and more. Like, even the guys that still kill park contests are dabbling more and more in more technical stuff as well. Yep. Like, people change all the time. It's pretty fluid, especially now. There's no real street park divide necessarily.
No.
People just are scooter riders, and people go between the two. But when do you think, roughly, in that whole movement, you transitioned into more of the rider you are now?
It's kind of like a few factors. I mean, it was kind of like one particular moment, like it was in around 2015, and I was like full park then, and every year I tried to make worlds, like every year, and I'd never made it. Like,
how close did you get?
Oh, not close. Like 2015 was the year I like put everything in. Like, I even actually started almost training, like not training, but like running every morning to like, you know, get my
cardio sorted.
Yeah. Because I always struggle in comp runs. And it was like Monster 2015, like Australian Championships. And I did like the best run I'd ever done. Like, and I think like the way the comp is run, like if you didn't hit one certain obstacle, you lose like 20% of your score.
Yeah.
Best run I'd ever done, and like I just did not make it. Like, I think it was 15 that got the wild card, and I was like 20th or something like that, and it just like broke me. I was just like, fuck this. Like, yeah. and like riders, I'm gonna name people. Kyle Barnes, you landed like 3 tricks, man, and like you got a wild card, and I was just like, I was salty as hell, and that was like a real angry moment, like. But it wasn't like that exactly. It was definitely a number of things. Like, I think that kind of got me a bit more pissed at like certain things about park. Like, and at that time I'd like filmed a lot of videos. Like I was filming so many edit after edit. And like, it got to the point where I was like, I didn't even know what I can do anymore. Like, I'm just kind of reaching this.
Just burning out essentially.
Yeah.
Was it the kind of bit where you just kind of add in a bar and a whip every time?
Exactly.
Out?
Yeah. Exactly that. And like, I'd done so much of the stuff I'd always wanted to do, and it was just like there's not many goals I really have anymore. Like, I've really accomplished a lot in like filming wise for park videos. So I think that's when I started to almost watch some other videos, and like for me the real like change, I saw Reese Jones. Like, I'd heard of Reese Jones before, but there was when Reese was on Rude Industries. They had these the Reese, Regan, Nathan video, which is like Regan Thompson, Native Fleming, and Nathan Fleming and Reese Jones, and yeah, just an awesome video. And I just saw Reese, and it was like, I don't know, it was like an epiphany. It was just like seeing like, it was for me like the first time I really saw like style in like street riding. Like, before this, I like almost neglected all kind of street scooter riding. I just, you know, full park mindset. Like, you couldn't care about anything unless it was like a double buttercup from Jay Clark.
Yeah.
So,
fuck, Jay Clark was so sick.
Yeah, he was nuts.
Remember those videos? Yeah.
I was an old
So you're pretty much pissed about it all and sort of burning out, right?
Yeah.
But so you've gone from doing fucking inwards to hang fives to inwards in and mad shit, and then at that point, do you sort of think, I'm just going to try it because I've got, like, you've seen videos of people like Reese and that? Or was it like a slow transition?
It was definitely like, I'd always had a couple of grind tricks. Like, I always could do like frontside lip slides, and my filmer Dylan Alt was like, I don't know, we're just mucking around. He was teaching me like front board 270s, which kind of turned into front hurricanes, which turned to like backflip 270s, and it just turned into building blocks, you know?
For sure.
And then it was just like, oh, this is fun. And I just kept learning more rail tricks, and then gradually like became better at like, you know, doing rail tricks and like, you know, more, I guess, street oriented stuff in the park, to then actually like meeting crews, like starting to ride with Friendly guys and the Fam Hungry crew from Brisbane.
Sick. Yeah.
And then actually riding the streets.
For
so
sure.
It was
yeah.
definitely.
I guess it just rekindled the passion and love again.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So it's definitely gradual. It wasn't like, you know, park and then the next day, like, okay, I'm this now. It was just like the influence of like videos, and then just kind of gradually like learning some stuff. And then, and then this whole kind of new perspective, just kind of, this like new way of looking kind of just came about. And then
And then did you have your eyes set on, right, I'm gonna make a street video now, with someone like Dylan, or was it just
I'm trying to think, because it kind of was like that, because I definitely had like footage. I definitely finished off my last like Mad Gear video, and then I think I definitely kind of almost decided like I was riding street all the time. I was like way more enjoying my time riding with like the Friendly guys or the Fam Hungry dudes, and just like I was like, this is just so much sicker, like for me and my time right now. And I was like, I definitely just want to like start filming street. Like I know I can do it. So my first street video was in America actually. Maggie sent me over for the SD 10 competition. It was like a 2-week video, and just like, so filmed my first street video there, which was like, and then from then on the rest is history. But
sick. Yeah.
That transition going from being, let's say, park orientated rider to a street rider, that's, like I said, that's happened quite a bit in general. Do you think it's possible to do it the opposite way around? Do you think someone who starts out as a diehard street rider could transition into a park contest rider?
That's like, has that ever happened?
That's
like,
what I mean. We spoke about this before, dude.
That's like a whole new concept. I've never heard. Like, let me think. I don't think so. No, I think maybe like the closest would have been like kids starting off street, and then maybe like learning a bri flip, and then just kind of following their friends. But I really never heard of that. No,
because I think the main thing is, I don't think anybody starts off street, right? They all go to the park for the first time and they fuck about whatever. But there are some guys now that you'd be like, these guys are really. Who would you say is just a good example of that kind of like really raw street rider? Just pick one for
Logan Fuller.
Right? Can you imagine Logan Fuller? I don't know, session with Chris Farris a few times, getting some tips, and then just being like the ISA next year. Do you reckon? do you think it'd be even possible?
Or not for such a seasoned street rider, like dedicated like 10 years, and then, damn, like this ISA
imagine
stuff looks
like
really
skinny,
cool.
Skinny jeans, like a big plastic pad.
Imagine Logan with a gun shield.
That's what
and like a 4XL t-shirt.
Yeah, the mouth guard comes out. Yeah, Jesus.
I've obviously not done that, but I would say surely a lot of the general control you need to be a technical street creative, surely there's just, you kind of have to go through, because the thing about...
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Sorry, I think it's interesting because I think street riding almost has more of a mature connotation to it. So like the idea of growing from park to street is I don't know, for at least a lot of people, and watching people go from park to street as they get older, like it's kind of almost growing up in a sense. And it might not be that, but it kind of seems that way. And like riders kind of mature a bit, and then they kind of see things a bit differently. So I think that could be like a reason that it hasn't gone the opposite way. But
would you ever go back to it?
I mean, today's a good example.
I was going to say, we've seen the inward kick whip and a few kicklesses coming out. So
I mean, it's fun. Like I've still got all the tricks. Like not all the tricks. Like I've still got like some tricks that like. I mean, I love a good kickless. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. They're fun. Just a single kickless over like a box. That's super fun. But like some of it is just so fucking physically demanding, like and it's just, and it hurts too, like especially the riding I was doing when I was so park, like riding a 9-foot and like trying to land flat to get as many whips and bars in as you can.
The most air time.
It was not.
Do you not think that some of the control that you've now gained since doing things like, well, let's use the giant circle rail as an example, that takes a lot of, even like mentally, not even just physical balance or anything, just mentally being able to go at a trick and get something like that and go, that's pretty big and round, whatever. Do you not think that would be pretty useful? If you said now, I'm going to start competing in park comps properly, surely you've learned stuff now since doing the street stuff that you wouldn't have learned if you'd carried on being a park rider. Do you not reckon you could get, like, it adds a new dimension to it?
Yeah, I mean, physically, I'm not too sure. Mentally, definitely. Like, mentally for sure, because just a filming career, like, you learn you can't win every battle. Yep. And that's just life. Like, you can film as much as you want and, like, every day want something, but the reality is it's not always going to happen. Like,
yep.
Due to many circumstances. So I think, like, taking that mindset to a park and, like, it's good in allowing you to accept defeat sometimes and, like, know that that's okay and know that, or the opposite way, know that you don't have to give up if you want something. So yep. I think, like, the mindset of filming, like, in the street, which forces you to go for hours on end, much longer than a park, really. Like, I don't know. So I feel like, yeah, it helps in a lot of aspects, like, for mentality.
So how long was that battle then? That one in particular with the circle rail?
That's not one of the long, like, I've had, like, 6-hour battles before. And
what's the longest? Well, what trick, what was it you were going for that took
funnily,
the
when I
longest?
thought about, when I was thinking, like, what is one of the longest? Like, a park trick actually comes to mind. Inward to fakie hang 5 was, like, 4 hours.
Mad.
Can you imagine just using your forearms that much for 4 hours?
Yeah,
that's
that
a
must
battle.
have fucked you up, man. Like, for days after, right?
Yeah, that was like Paul Roman in Coalition this year. If you ever saw our B-sides, he was doing, like, this wally backlit, whip backlit.
Yeah,
and that was about 2.5 hours. And when he lands it, like, he almost gets taken down to tears. Like, his whole body shuts down and his wrists were so numb from the wally pressure.
Yeah, of course.
He couldn't feel, like, his thumbs or, like, this wrist for, like, a good day and a half, like, just from that wally pressure.
Yeah. So it's physically and mentally draining sometimes, but it's always worth the reward.
You want it so much that it's just mind over matter,
Yeah,
like, and then you only feel the matter right after.
Regards the circular rail, which, by the way, was fucking outrageous.
Appreciate it.
How long did it actually? Well, no.
Yeah, sorry, we keep going vastly off topic, but
yeah. So how long did it actually take? And then was that the best feeling rolling away from that? Of that whole video? I know it is the ender, but, like, and you've done a lot of wild shit.
Yeah, when I did it, it wasn't I didn't know what it was initially, because, like, I'd filmed a whole video in America that was just going to be an American video.
Yep.
And I finished that trip with no, like, ender. Like, there was good footage, but there was no ender. So I always, when I came back to Australia, I was like, what am I going to do with that footage? I think I have to go back, and, like, film. Like, I have to make this. I'm gonna have to go back for another trip, and because I didn't want to have, like, I wanted to have a cohesive video where it was all in the same country.
Yep.
But that rail, like, we just kind of found it, like, to make the story a little bit longer. I'd been looking for a circle rail for, like, a good 1.5 years before I tried that one. But not that. Maybe, like, the size of this coffee table. Not that everyone can see it. Like, just like a smaller one. I just had this dream of, like, on a small one doing 2 360s. Like, I felt like that was feasible. It's probably not, but we can all dream. So I'd always looked for one like that, but every time I found one, there was, like, a pole or a tree or something in the middle that was just, like, obstructing you from being able to do it. So I was just always subconsciously looking for them every country I went to, America or whatever, and I never found one. But after I'd filmed this all the way video, we were back in Australia, and Max and I, we, like, drove out a few hours to just go to this, like, we're going to a few other spots. We went to this, like, flat rail spot to warm up. It was, like, a new estate development with, like, a park and gardens, and there was just so many, like, really fat circle kind of rails, like, not circular, but circle rails.
Yeah.
And we just went there kind of to film Insta clips. Like, that was the general vibe, and we saw that, and we were just like, oh my god. Like,
did your eyes lit up at this point?
Yeah, surely for you it was like, I think I found it. But obviously that's a lot bigger than the one you had in mind, though.
I just remembered, like, we actually had seen this on Google Maps the night before. But
so that's how deep the search was going.
Yeah. Well, like, we saw, like, an Insta clip of these dudes riding this flat bus, but I'm like, damn, that's sick. We looked at it on Google Earth, so you could see it from above, and you just see this massive circle. And I was like, oh my God. But it looked huge. Like it looked like about 3 times bigger on Google Earth than it was in real life. It's still huge, but like looked like a bloody football field or something like that. So going there, like I didn't have any intention of doing it. I just want to see what that thing looks like while we're filming Insta clips. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is in the realm of, doable. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like this could take weeks, but it could be done. And Max and I just kind of like started stuffing around on it. And Max actually got like maybe halfway, like just popping out. And then I was like, fuck you, Max. I want this. This is mine. Like, you know the search that's going on for this. It was, but no, I just kind of like tried. And then I was like, Max, I think I want it. Like I think we've got like 5 camera batteries. Like let's just, if you're down, let's just spend the day here and whatever happens, happens.
So you was prepared in that sense, and then obviously you've rolled away from it. Probably the best feeling, most rewarding feeling. Yeah. Because not only is your video wrapped up, but then once it went on the gram, you obviously was then reposted by WorldStar, right? And ESPN and shit like that. How did that like affect you? Did that blow your phone up?
I didn't even know I was gonna do it per se. I was like, this is low risk. I can try it for hours on end, and if it happens, it happens. And when it did, I just didn't even know how to react, and like I was kind of so surreal about the feeling. I didn't really know how the scooter community react, and after a few days, I was like, okay, I think like scooter community is gonna think this is pretty sick. Like it's like a full circle, and like I was just hyped on it. I was kind of debating, should this be my ender? Like it's a flat bar in a sense. So I was kind of like debating. You always kind of debate with yourself a bit, but when it was uploaded, I was like really like on it, like felt really humbled by the response from the scooter community, and I didn't really expect people like outside the community to go that crazy. But when like I was actually in Spain, and I went to the bathroom, came back to my phone, and it was just like
on fire.
Yeah, it was like literally like just going down. I was just like, I knew what it was. Like it just kind of had a guess, and that was next.
Because
level.
On Instagram,
I didn't really know how to respond to it. I was like, I don't know if I was stoked or shocked. It was kind of.
It's got like over 300k views, right? Just on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Like something wild.
Yeah,
I'm sure it obviously has been received by millions of people.
Bazillions. I've seen that loads of times. And every time it comes up, obviously you get tagged by people that, like, I used to know that rode BMX like 10 years ago. And they're like, because they knew I rode scooters. And
I got sent by
and they're like,
too,
oh, can you do this, Lewis Crampton? It's like, I don't reckon I've got that, to be honest. But no, I think it's interesting.
Have faith. And it was a whole like range of like reactions to it, like Nigel was commenting like fuck scooters and all this stuff.
Did he really?
Which
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he commented on the WorldStar one like no, and then delete this like. And,
that's whack.
Yeah.
What does that even do? What purpose does that serve?
I was kind of stoked because I always knew Nigel. Like I loved Nigel as a kid, but I've known he's like been pretty whack like lately. Like so I was just like, this kind of affirms how much of like an asshole he is. Like so. But it was just really interesting. Like most of it was really positive, and I was really humbled by people's reaction. I was just stoked to get street riding. Like there to be like a viral street clip. So that was mainly my
how long after the clip being filmed did it then get reposted? Was it like straight away?
No.
I remember seeing the video obviously, and
it was
shitting myself. But like, and
I think about 3 months.
Oh really? Yeah, because a bit later, and it was sick to see it.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened? Why do you think it wasn't just straight away or nothing at all?
I think I remember like I made the edit came out like 3 months or something before WorldStar or whatever shared it.
Yeah.
But I like reshared it like at the end of the year, like stoked on this year or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think
and that's when it got picked up then.
Yeah, I think someone must have like me resharing or something.
That's pretty sick. Repost working.
Yeah,
for sure.
Normally things you see on Facebook, WorldStar, fucking everything, ESPN, whatever. It was ESPN, right? They did it. They grabbed it. Sick. So everybody ever reposted that clip.
Yeah.
But normally it's people going upside down or crashing that gets reposted.
Yeah.
What's it like being the guy that's probably got the first ever viral street clip
I was just stoked that it's gonna bring like a spotlight to other riders, like
Yeah.
a spotlight to the sport, because you know, like, I mean, there's the only street clip, so I'm sure the rest of the world has seen is like what, like Tom K, like trying to spin down that 16 or something.
Yeah.
That's an old one.
So no, I'm just stoked it, like, you know, it gave people maybe a new insight to like, you know, wow, they can actually do rails, or like they can, you know, make it look cool or something like that. So, and there's so many other like riders like Nalia that can just do so much more that I know could go like just if not more viral, and like I just feel like it'd be so good. It's awesome, like that we got that reception, that more people can, you know, look at us differently now, and we're not just backflips guys.
I don't think we're fighting for acceptance anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like now, there's more and more shit you see just come up on Facebook all the time. It's like, oh yeah, there's our Willie's clip. Like a lot of stuff I see from our Willie, I see it for the first time through some Facebook repost rather than from our Willie himself.
Or like the people are awesome videos, and then all of a sudden you see a scooter rider pop up and stuff like that.
Remember the Devin Supertramp video?
Oh,
of course,
yes.
yeah.
Who could forget?
Fucking hell. But yeah, regards like the social media situation, how do you find it? What's your opinion on that? Because obviously you do have a huge following, you're notorious worldwide, and you got a lot of fans. But
social media, like in scootering,
just for you personally,
okay.
like, you know, if you was to go on the gram, like, how do you find it? Do you read every comment? Do you?
No. I mean, like, I think for scootering, and especially like it's kind of like, it's good and it's bad, you know, like it's great. It gives like up and comers and people just this perfect platform to be seen. But then again, at the same time, it takes away, you know, the filming of video parts,
of course,
and a lot of what we grew up on as core like we grew up in as scooter riders, like, and saw the core riders, you know, doing like, and I think that's like, you can see that in a lot of like skateboarding as well, like skaters, like there's a couple of street league skaters at the moment who've like pretty much never really filmed a video part, and they've been just noticed through Instagram, you know, and it's kind of like proving the point, you know, like you only need Instagram to kind of show that, you know, you're pro, or you're worthy of pro, and video parts are becoming a bit more obsolete, at least.
But do you not think that's what video parts were for back then? I'm obviously a big supporter of video parts, but the reason filming a video back then was to show people that you can do this trick or tricks.
I think
Instagram
definitely
does that as well. It serves the same purpose.
I think the purpose has always been the same, but like the longevity and the meaning of a video, like the importance of a video, is just always going to be much more integral to the sport. What was your question again? Sorry.
No, just that like we can look back on it and go, oh yeah, video parts were sick because they were like, they meant more or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we're being old people by saying video parts were better? Because we were part of the video part generation kind of thing.
I think there's definitely a bit of that in there. Yeah. It's definitely a bit of nostalgic, you know. You grow up, like, you know, it's like, you know, like how your parents would say back in the old days, or like, you know, it was always better back then.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be a bit of that.
I think just the whole process in general just means so much more. Like you said, when you're just with your homies, you're traveling specifically to put your body on the line to get content, and that in itself is always going to obviously overweigh the fact that we can just go to a park with a phone and make an Insta vid. And
that's the thing, our reality back then was going on YouTube and seeing these videos, so we were replicating that. And now the reality of kids these days, you know, it's they go on their phone, they see Insta clips, so they're replicating that. So I feel like if we were in their position, we would have done the same, most likely, depending on our, you know, depending on like our previous influences, may it be skateboarding or something. But I'm sure like most of us being like born in like the, you know, late 90s and growing up in the early 2000s, where DVDs like was such a prominent thing to watch skateboarding or BMX or rollerblading or whatever. That's kind of what like shaped your love, or like shaped your love and your appreciation of like videos and scootering or whatever.
Well, sure. I think you're a pretty perfect example of not having to pick one or the other though, because you do cool shit on Instagram and then you do video part, you do both. I think a lot of riders feel a bit like, well,
one or the other.
Is it a lot of effort doing both simultaneously? Rather than focusing on one or the other?
If you kind of label it and like give you and like make it that, then it can be. But I've found like, I mean, I've definitely been in times in the last couple of years where you almost feel like an expectation. But I feel like the best thing to do is like, the way that helps me is just going out and riding. Like if I'm going out and riding and not thinking about it, that's when I kind of learn the most shit. Or I go out and end up filming, or, you know, like if you say, like, for instance, you go out and like, okay, I'm going to film an Insta clip today. Like it generally, if it doesn't happen, or even if it does happen, it's not something that great. Like the best clips you will film are the ones that are kind of spontaneous, and the ones that you didn't really think were going to happen. And that's always like stemming from you just having a good time and like not thinking, and then just, you know, getting creative for the sake of it.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
But like, point being, I don't think it has to really be a war between the two. I think you can do both. They're both good for different things, right?
Yeah, I think I went a bit off topic there. But yeah, and it's just, you know, a matter of, you know, writing and just like, you know, it also depends on like, you know, it makes it easier if you have a good people with you, you know, like it's I always come across writers that, you know, like I really want to film a video part, but I have no filmers around me. And obviously that's hard. Like, but if you want to kind of make it happen, you've got to travel to filmers. You've got, if you want it, you're going to make it happen, you know? So a lot of my experience is like having to like go out of my way, not go out of my way, but, you know, make it over to America or Barcelona or somewhere where I know I can do that. Because, you know, as we all know,
and if
like,
you've already made that like decision, you're actually gonna just go full send because you've traveled to actually get content.
Yeah, exactly.
So that helps as well. And you know, when you've got a solid filmer, that's already good motivation, man.
Exactly.
So yeah, but just change topics slightly, but I'm sure most people would be interested in hearing about this. We could talk a bit about modeling to go away from scooters. Yeah. So obviously, yeah, you've posted a few photos now related to that, and you did have a photo shoot with, I'm not sure which company, which one was it that was?
I've done a few.
By like Philip Plain.
Philip Plain, yeah.
Like, how did that come
about? I actually
about?
don't even know how it's pronounced. It's like
Philip Plain. I don't know. It's spelled like Plain or Plain. But like, how did that even come about?
That's actually a funny story. So I was in New York with Logan and all the dudes, and matched with this chick on Tinder. And she's just like, yeah, come to this party in New York. Like, well, I was in Manhattan. And I was like, yeah, sweet, it's my last night, so I'll come. And it just turned out to be like this album launch for like some DJ I've never heard of. Yeah. And I was wearing like this, like, and I was in like this. It's so out of place, like in this crazy like hotel, like it's just all these people, like designers and stuff, and I was just like, I was sweating, like I'd just come back from filming, like I was just like no idea where I was or what was happening. But yeah, the whole time people were just like asking me like, oh, who you signed with, and I'm like, Mad Gear, what are you I'm not really sure what the question is. But yeah, obviously they're asking like an agency or something, and I just kind of blew them off. I was just like, oh no, it's just like I'd never considered it or like wanted to really do that. I mean, I'd always been interested in fashion, like, and just clothes and thrifting and stuff like that, but it was just never really something I wanted to do. But yeah, I went on the rest of the trip with like Logan and Mike and Brian and stuff, and I was talking to Brian about it, and he was just like, yeah, dude, just like do it, you know, like you could like turn this down and like 20 years from now, you know, wonder like, would that have actually like worked out or something? And I was like,
worth a shot in it.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, fuck it, like why not? So I talked to like one of the people at the party, like got in contact, and they got me in contact with someone in Melbourne, and then from then on I had like an agent, and yeah, I just kind of made it work with like going on scooter trips, and then on those scooter trips going to see agencies, and then getting signed, and then on the same scooter trips kind of doing both, and getting a bit of work and doing some fashion weeks and some shows like on every kind of trip I was doing.
That's actually sick. What the hell?
Yeah. So it kind of worked out, and I was kind of reluctant at first, but then it just kind of ended up being really fun, you know, like I never knew anything about the industry or anything like that. But yeah, the people are just super nice. Like you go to, like if you do like a fashion week or something, you're like, particularly in Milan, where it's just a very small city. It's so small that when it's fashion week, there's like thousands of models like everywhere, and you're running into the same people all the time. So you just end up making like so many friends, and like they're just so many nice people, and it just ends up being like a really good time regardless of work or not. So
That's wild. So, and you've done catwalks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catwalks.
Did you get the hips
Oh,
going
the
then?
catwalk. Oh yeah. Oh, it's an art. Hey. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. You must have strutted your stuff.
You think it's like they just ask you like, oh, just walk for me, but it's like so much more than that.
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
like, you know, like I'm sure we all know, like scooter riding, bending down, like I'm always hunching over. Like,
Yeah. Our postures are definitely not the greatest. So.
Always hunching over. So I was like kind of forced into like straightening my back and like having to learn how to walk masculine and like, you know.
Yeah. That's mad.
But yeah, no, it's cool.
So you're still getting work and enjoying it?
Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, it's definitely a very fleeting profession. Like you can't. Well, some can do it forever. Like if you're a silver fox.
Yeah.
But no, it's like yeah, I'm just doing it while I can, particularly while I'm like traveling and scooter riding and stuff, and the opportunity to kind of move overseas and
yeah. I think it's important to have something else as well as scooters and stuff.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no, that's dope.
It kind of works out. Like Coalition, for example, like 6th, 7th, like literally the day after El Toro.
Yep.
Like I came out unscathed, but the day after I like completely like tore the ligaments in my ankle from like nothing, from just like a small rail. And I was going to like Milan after that, and Milan and Paris after that. And I just needed like time to let my ankle heal.
Yeah, of
course. So I just was able to go to Europe and like do all the modeling and stuff without, you know, and allow myself to heal and allow myself to have the break. And yeah, it just becomes like a nice break. And then like, you know, when you come back to it, like, you know, come from like Fashion Week to scooter riding, you end up just like missing riding. And then, you know, it's always nice to kind of split up the two. And yeah, it's been a weird but cool experience so far.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting combo. I can see Danny's eyes lighting up because he's hearing a reason why he should keep using Tinder. You might get signed up.
I'm not a fan of Tinder personally.
Bollocks.
No, because this podcast
go premium at least.
This podcast makes you look very bad, right? But at one stage, I had Tinder Gold,
Yeah.
And it was sort of by accident. I wanted to do a month, but ended up accidentally paying for like 6 months, right?
Oh.
And for me, it became a really good tourist guide when I was traveling. Because you could ask people around your age, like what's a good place to go to, or a good club and shit like that. Are you still talking to the bird from Tinder?
We're friends. Yeah, definitely.
She's done you a solid, really.
Yeah. I talked to her all about it. Like
she's got you into Vogue, right?
Yeah.
Like some big features.
I was like, you just like that one match kind of like opened it all up. So.
And was that through Tinder Gold?
No.
Oh.
No, that wasn't. I mean, I swear by Tinder Gold, but no, that was but yeah, it was.
Well, your profile must be fat now because you're gonna have the sickest photographers. I
don't flex my Tinder is like scootering photos. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Dylan Morrison swear by the scooter photos in the Tinder. Like,
love that.
Yeah, Dylan actually like sent me this photo the other day. It was so funny. It was like. He had a photo of him, I don't know, just a backflip or something. Yeah. And a chick matched with him, and the first message was, you should have your first photo. You should have the scooter photo as your first photo because that's so hot.
Oh, jeez.
It was like...
Definitely a 50-year-old guy.
Yeah. It was just like profile. 1 in a million. Like, it was like, how is that
going then?
Yeah.
Fair play.
But the scooter photos, I feel like.
So how was it when you decided? Because you decided this year at some point to like post like to your scooter audience, like, oh yeah, guys, by the way, I do some modeling. Thought I'd share it, whatever.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I was like, yeah, definitely quite reluctant to at first. I mean, I'd be doing it for maybe like 8-9 months before I ever posted about it. I didn't want to like really. I don't know. I just kind of like for a while it was a bit of embarrassment. Like honestly, like just like I don't know. It was very new to me, and it was something I didn't want to post about until like I'd maybe done some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just but I actually like I posted that right after I did the show. I was just like super happy. I'd done like heaps of. There's like a lot of ranges of like runway shows. Like I'd done a lot of smaller ones and like ones in Melbourne and ones in London, like just brands, but not like huge. And then when I did Philip Plain, it was I had no idea what the brand was until I did it, but it was quite a big one. was just like a bit of a pride moment, really. I was just like, fuck it.
Even him, he's got over 1 million followers and stuff. And
yeah, I was just like, no idea who he was, but
so basically now, obviously, the majority of your following is probably going to be scooter kids, and you feel now some of that proportion is from models and agencies, or
it's hard to tell. I don't know, honestly.
I imagine, of course, it's still going to be scooter riders.
It's always going to be
but
scooter
like,
riders.
do you feel?
I love that.
Is there any like contract with any agencies where you're required to post some modeling content now?
Yeah,
or?
I mean,
like, are we expected to see more? Basically, that's what I'm
saying.
Yeah,
definitely. Like whenever it's something I'm like kind of stoked on, like for sure. Like I've got a couple of like campaigns I did like a couple of months ago that will come out that the photos were like really, really sick, and
sweet.
I'd be down to post some of that stuff, but yeah, definitely a lot of kids are just like like find it hilarious.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
so what was the overall impression then? If you could have like a ratio, how much of it was positive when you posted the first modeling one?
Yeah, that was like pretty much mostly positive. Like
I think everyone was pretty.
I think
hyped.
everyone was buzzing. To be honest, I've seen loads of shares, and
I was definitely reluctant to, because I knew because I didn't really tell many people. I think I'd only told like Max Peters and Dylan Morrison about it, like when I was a couple months into it. But yeah, so I was, and they were like super down for it, but yeah, it was just like, I don't know. I was definitely reluctant. I still kind of am. Like, I have so much modeling photos, but like, I'm just, I don't know. You're just like, not sure if you want to post that one. It might be a bit too raunchy.
They go on Tinder.
Yeah,
there you go.
But surely it's a little bit like, well, they don't cross over those two things, modeling and scootering. So is it not a little bit like, well, when you're modeling, it's kind of away from scooters for a little bit?
Yeah.
So you kind of, is it nice keeping them a bit separate, or is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I want to like for instance, some like my agency in London, they like wanted me to kind of work with other brands and do posting for like a certain brand. And there's like a lot of brands that like they wanted me to work for that were just so far out. Like they wanted me to almost be like an influencer for. And it was just like so far out of like my comfortability or like my style or what have you, that I was just, I've said no to a lot of them, because it's just like one of them being like a suit shoe company. It's just like me posting about, I just felt like it was so off balance. I just didn't feel comfortable. But I don't know. I still feel like I'm kind of like, not transitioning, but like, I don't know, gradually making the way onto that. Yep. So it's still like, kind of early days, at least it feels.
All right. And back to scooters briefly. How do I put this one as nicely as possible? How did you end up making Mad Gear look really fucking cool? How has that happened?
God. Do they look cool?
Well, they do now.
I don't know. I thought I was, oh man, like, I'll tell you something. The 95% of the reason I joined Mad Gear was for foot jams. Literally.
Yeah.
Foot jams. I was on micro, I couldn't foot jam them, and I just when I got the offer, I was like, I have to like rekindle that love. So I don't know, like I just I guess my riding has changed a lot over a few years. I don't know where I'm relating the foot jams, whatever. But yeah, no, I guess my riding has kind of changed a lot over the years, and it's kind of gone more into like the street style. I mean, like I've kind of always thought Mad Gear was cool. Like I'm from the Mad Gear generation, I guess. Yeah. So I have a lot of bias, like growing up with Cody and stuff. So
yeah, but you've definitely put Mad Gear in a different light to what it would have been when you first got on it.
Yeah.
Because so you first got on the Mad Gear because you wanted to do foot jams, because back then, like you said, that was when you were still doing parky stuff. Mm-hmm. So then when you started doing more streety stuff, did you not at any point be like, well, this Mad Gear is built for this, like park stuff.
Yeah.
I need a different scooter for this. Or were you like, I really like being part of Mad Gear, I'm just going to use this for this and make it work?
I remember like when I was when I made my first street video in America, I was like very vocal, like that I wanted to like ride. I was a bit younger and naive, but I was very vocal to myself, like I want to make it clear you can like ride street, doesn't matter what company you're on, you can like make it look sick. I mean, and I still believe in that, because at the end of the day, it's just a scooter, and to the outside world, what's the difference? You know,
Yeah.
like it's the same scooter. Like, who the hell in the outside world is gonna be able to tell the difference between 3 holes in the head tube and just a straight square looking one? So I always thought, you know, like when you really think about it, there's no real difference. I mean, obviously now with deck size and stuff, that's a bit different, but I just never thought, like, you know, there's no reason, you know, you can't ride differently, and you have to be forced into this like particular way of riding that Mad Gear kind of always was known for. So yeah, I guess I always thought, you know, like there's no reason to like conform, or like, you know, you can kind of break away a little bit.
Yeah, it was cool to see as well. And not only that, obviously, congrats with the SIG deck. It was well deserved. But then even still, some people could say, oh, it's super heavy. How's he doing half the shit he's doing? So even then, you're sort of enforcing the fact that it does not matter what's under your feet.
Yeah.
If you feel comfortable on it, you're able to do the shit you put your mind to, right?
Exactly. Those kids that blame me on the weight, break it.
Hey, we seen it, you know, you've done inward down Toro and you fucking hung on to that.
2 years that deck lasted.
No, but that's what I mean. It was solid, bro. Like, and it didn't actually snap on you. Like, it just bent from the impact.
Thank
but
God.
Yeah,
Jesus.
dude.
It's a weird argument, like, isn't it? Oh, it's a really heavy deck, and it's like Mad Gear makes a lot of not heavy decks. Just get one of them, then. Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
What's the?
It's just kids being picky. But
we're not introducing this as the VX.
But you've put it through some shit, and it's evidently solid.
Yeah.
And,
I never wanted to compromise on strength. Like, it was always a. I mean, I'm the worst person at designing like a scooter. Like, when this came about, I was like, I want a 5x22. Like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what an 84-degree head tube angle was or anything like that. It was more just like, I want this to like be so strong, like no one can break it, no one can talk shit. Like, And I like a heavy scooter, so I'm a bit biased there. I like being able. If it's too light, I just have no control.
I get that.
So I'm just, to this day, I'm like very proud. Like it just stood to stand the test of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, even like Brisbane Street Jam, like a few days ago, there were just kids. There was like 3 kids, like all came up to me. They were like a group of friends, and they were just like, "We still got them." Like, you know, after like a year, like they were just like
buzzing about it.
Yeah, they were just like, still going. Like, and I'm just hyped, you know, like they never needed to buy another one. Like,
which is sick. And regarding Toro as well, which must have been fucking wild. And you came away unscathed. You rolled away. You must have been gassed.
Jesus
but
Christ.
What is your worst injury from scootering? Because you've had a really bad one, right?
Yeah, this year's been. It's been kind of full of them.
Yeah, but when you was you with Max and Tommy when you was traveling?
Yeah, that was Singapore. Literally this time last year. Oh, that sucked. That was like, me, Max, and Tommy went to Singapore for the Singapore Street Jam, and we were just there for a few days before the jam. Actually, no, like a week before the jam, and we were just riding one night, had a few beers. Cheap beer in Singapore, so who could blame? But having a few beers, and then we rode like back to the apartment, and on the way there was like a basketball court with some kickers and some flat rails. And you know, I'm sure you guys know, when you drink and ride, you feel like you're on top of the world. You can land everything you want, and the fear just magically goes away. But also does your balance and your sense of reality. So when I was we're just riding, and that was happening. I was just like landing everything, like riding this flat rail, like landing everything. I'm like, I'm fucking sick. I can do anything I want. I'm just landing everything.
Fucking hell.
And on just one of those tricks, I just bit off way more than I could chew. And and like, you know, when you're drunk as well, like the moment you kind of stack, you're just like, it's all slow motion. Like, and you don't really know how to, we're like, you're professional scooter riders, but you're like also professional bailers. Like, you know how to get out of stuff, but when, you know, you've been drinking. Yeah.
So don't drink and ride. No. Would be your advice?
No, it's massive piece of advice.
I've just received some intel.
No.
During this Don't Drink and Ride campaign, turns out Juzzy's not the best advocate for that, because he front lip deck grabbed
his team manager here.
Which spot was it?
It's Botanical Rail, the last rail at Brizzy Street Jam.
It's fucking big, regardless.
It's 14. It's 14, but it's like, it's a intimidating 14. Like, I don't know how people are whip barring into that thing. But yeah, no, that Come on. It was a hot day.
Feeling on top of the world again.
Yeah, I'd like landed. I got my first hippie jump that day, and you know, I was pretty hyped. I didn't think I was riding the rest of the day, but when we saw that rail and I'd had a few beers, I was like, oh, I know how to front lip, you know. But I was pretty smart. I landed the front lip deck grab, and I was like, okay, I'm
cash out,
done.
I'm taking it. That's it. But yeah, that I still would highly recommend don't drink and ride, because I've had another injury since the one in Singapore, which was caused from that too. And I'm not a heavy drinker at all.
Yeah.
It always just seems to be like, you know, on a trip and you have a couple beers.
Whilst on this topic of drinking, without making you sound like a raging alcoholic, the situation when we were sharing a room in Barcelona, you came at like 7 a.m. because your scooter had been robbed by a fan.
Yeah.
Dude, you can maybe explain what the fuck happened then?
Damn. Yeah, no, that was yeah. Oh god.
Bringing back some bad memories here.
Bringing back some drinking memories too. Jesus.
Well, if you do remember anyway.
No. I remember all of it. Of course, it was a great week. Honestly, like it was World Street Finals, and we had like a great crew of riders there: Caden Bewley, Jake Sorensen, and some other homies all there. Brian Noyce. Yeah, just some heaps of great homies there. Devin 777. And we do like the comp on the day, and every night we're just kind of at Markba, just like, you know, just riding, just, you know, having a few beers, just chilling. I wasn't riding to make it clear. But either way, we were just chilling, you know, and you know, it's maybe like 3-4 in the morning, and this kid comes up to me. He's like, hey, you're Juzzy Carter. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, can I ride your scooter? I was like, yeah, sure. And I just kind of was like a bit sus at first, and he rides my scooter, and he rides in front of me, does like a double whip, and then 360 bar spins. I was like, oh, okay, you know, he's a fan, he can do some tricks, so I trusted him. And, you know, 10 minutes goes by, he's riding in front of me, and then he starts to get a bit further away, but I just start to, like, I just trusted him, so I just lost interest and just continue my conversation. And then after a while, I was like, damn, I haven't seen that kid in a while, eh? and that was it. He was gone. Like,
do you reckon it was Kareem?
No. Oh my goodness.
Imagine. It's just someone that we actually know. No, that's Mingin. Again, on the alcohol subject, not to make us like raging alcoholics, but I've received advice from 2 riders in my life regarding this subject, from Alex Peasley and Helmary Pirinen. Which 2
very good drinkers.
Which is very pro this. I was always taught, I say always, from like maybe when I know Alex, maybe I was about 20 at the time, and he kind of just said, well, you have 1 beer before you ride. You gain the confidence without losing any sense of control. Yeah. And it's like, you know, when you get to skate park, you're cold, you ride for 20 minutes, you're like, okay, now I can start doing good tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of fast forward to that, and Helmer was the same, but obviously they're both, well, I'm not going to, they drink a lot. They drink quite a lot. But anyway, I always found that was actually pretty useful, but of course it gets to a point.
Yeah, definitely.
And in good news, you actually got the scooter back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, dude. That was insane.
No, sorry, I thought it was gone forever.
No, dude. It was like, yeah, so we were like chilling with some like skaters who like just kind of live at Markwell. Like that's just their home. Yeah. They're there 24 hours a day. And there were some really nice homies, and after we searched for this kid, we just never found him. We just gave up, and I was like, it's gone. Like Barcelona's huge, there's no way. And one of those skaters just like kind of kept wandering about. I had no idea of this, and just wandered about, and he came across this kid like with like a pack of junkies, like, and the kid was like maybe like 16 or something. And the kid like had already graffitied all over it, and he'd written like Ripper Company and like Juzzy and like his name and swastikas and 69.
What the fuck?
All of which is still on my scooter. I still have a nice 69 on my head tube.
Yeah. 2020 SIG deck graphic.
Yeah. It's got a story to tell.
Designed by a Spanish thief.
He's not getting any fucking royalties.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
But no, yeah, he like spent 2 hours like stealing it off this kid. Like this kid was just like, no, my dead father, like my father gave this to me before he died, and like trying to make up a story. But the dude got it back for me.
That's sick.
But the next day, like he got it back for me, and I got it back like 2 days later, because this guy doesn't have a phone. Obviously, he lives at Markbar.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next day I had to do the comp with like a whole new scooter and like round up parts, and Jonathan Krabby had to give me his bars, like which were like 30 tall, and like it was just a whole shit show.
Yeah.
But the dude just like again, like 2 a.m, and I just saw him. He's like, "Hey, I have your scooter," and I was just so stoked. Like,
yeah, mad that is.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Those bars too, like had lasted me like 3 years too. So it was like a lot of sentimental value in that scooter.
Yep.
But yeah, it's it's good. It's pretty rare, honestly. I don't think that kind of stuff happens that often.
Especially not in Barca.
No.
So anyway, back to the Singapore thing. What was the injury then? What actually happened?
So I landed on my ribs and I was drunk, so I didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. And I've like cracked ribs before, so I was like super winded, and I was like, okay, I've like broken a few ribs. Nothing you can do about that. It's just like a lot of rest. And I was like, okay, if I can land it, I can ride tomorrow. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah. So I was like, little did I know I'd like punctured a lung and like severed my kidney almost in half.
Shit.
That's vile.
And
Shit.
got up and went and landed it. I was like, yeah. But yeah, over the course of the next 4 hours, shit just went from bad to worse. And yeah, like I was like, I just went to the bathroom and pissed blood. Ooh. And I've pissed blood before, and Logan Fuller told me the great advice. If you piss blood once, it's okay. If you piss blood twice, it's not okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful advice.
Surely it's best if you don't piss blood at all.
Yeah.
Right.
According to Logan, it's okay. But no, yeah, and then it went from like orangey piss to just like dark red. And I
don't know what I'd do.
I'd be shook if I was pissing blood.
Yeah, I knew, like, I didn't know what to think, and I kind of wanted to sleep it off for a bit. Because you're just in denial, you know.
Yeah, the naive thing of just Googling and then being even more scared because it just gives you a list of bad shit that's about to happen. But
man, yeah.
So you took yourself to hospital.
Eventually, yeah. We were trying to sleep, and I was just like almost crying to Max. Like, I've got to go to the hospital, man. Like, and he took me at about like 4 a.m, and they misdiagnosed me like 5 hours later that I'd done my liver or whatever. But yeah, eventually, like, they realized I'd done pretty much like severed my kidney in half, like not fully in half, like think of it as like it's hanging on by like that much, you know. Yeah, so like fucked. not heaps.
Surely it just like leaks everywhere then.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens. It creates like a massive like a bruise, you know, like a bruise, like it just spreads like that creates like a kind of like a blood clot around it. But the worst part about that was I bought travel insurance the day I left. When I went to call my travel insurance, because I was going to spend my time in hospital for like the next 6 days, I called them, and then they're like, oh, so you bought your travel insurance like 60 something hours ago, but we have a clause that states you're not covered for the first 72 hours from buying it to the time you get hurt, just to save ourselves from you getting hurt, then buying the insurance to save yourself. So I got like stuffed, and I had like, you know, like $6,000-7,000 like medical bills, like
fucking hell.
And they wouldn't like let me like leave the country if I didn't pay them, you know. So it was just like the worst situation, and that turned into like a 3-month, you know, recovery. And yeah, it was just like, it was a huge lesson in like how, you know, you don't really estimate how like crazy internal injuries can be. But luckily, yeah, like it all healed up like after a few months, and I'm hoping it's okay. But yeah, it's been good. It was like a good learning curve. I didn't really learn the lesson of don't drink and ride that that quickly though. I was in Denmark with Badger, and we both landed like the biggest rail of our lives, and we were like stoked, and we were drinking, but I was actively not riding like the whole day.
Responsible.
Yeah, literally.
You've obviously heard Juzzy Carter's "Don't Drink and Ride" campaign.
Yeah, man. A huge advocate for his campaign. But dude was like, I'd gone we did this race at like 11 a.m, and at this time it was like maybe 10 p.m, and we were just riding back to the apartment, and I can see it. It's like 100 meters away, and on the sidewalk, just next to the sidewalk, there's like a metal slide, and I'm like, oh, sick! I'm just gonna do a little air on that slide, and like right before it, there's just this, you know, the children's playground soft material.
Oh, it looks like it's just coloured concrete.
It just looks like black concrete.
It's just foam.
Yeah, I went right into that and just chinned the bloody slide, and just turned into like 4 or 5 stitches along the chin.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, are you serious? Like, and that was definitely because I was inebriated and like, you know, like, oh, this would be a sick little war ride to do. But oh yeah, it's just never a good idea.
Fucking hell. I mean, it creates stories at least.
Yeah, I've got so many good stories from bad situations. But
I think my dad would just call it character building.
There we go.
The classic thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all, you know, like a learning curve, you know.
You know how like if you've got BB guns, they've kind of got to be like bright orange now. So they look to the naked eye like they're not real guns, right?
Yeah, okay.
They should be that for that foam floor. That shit's evil.
Yeah.
Everyone's encountered that.
I know
at some
exactly
point.
what it is. The amount of times where we've just dropped in a slide and then you've hit it and you either bang your knee off the bars or it just shoots you over them.
Just dig in.
That shit sucks, man.
It's like out of a Saw film. It's like just torture.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
So
But,
back when you started riding, who was your first main influence?
when I first got into scootering,
Yep.
first thing I ever remember being shown was Cody Donovan. So Cody Donovan punk scooters.
What a video.
Yeah.
That just is the video, isn't it?
It
It's
is the
fucking
video.
huge. Still is.
I got given a
07?
USB. Sorry.
think-
Yeah, like 2006, 7 or something like
Yeah.
that. No, I got given a USB by a friend in school, and it had that, the to the Terry Price video, of course,
Yeah, cool.
and the French ID team video. Like the European team video had like Matt McKean, JD.
Yeah, that video is also fat.
Yeah. It was like, and that it was kind of like a nice mix, you know. It was like England, Australia, and then like Europe, and like and Europe. The French ID had like a nice mix, and seeing that was just like, damn, you can do shit on these toys.
Yeah.
So that was like the first like whoa, like eye opener. I feel for sure.
And when did you realize you were good at it?
Nah, like I realized I was having fun with it for a long time before I realized I was good. And when you're in an environment where like you've got Max Peters as like the pinnacle, and like there's, you know, Max Peters and like Jackson Andrew Arthur and Luke Pickett, like there's always like the top tier riders. So to yourself, you're not good yet. like you're learning tricks and you're having fun, but it's just like you're not like good yet. But once I got on like once I got sponsored by Grit, I was just like, okay, I can actually like ride comps and stuff now.
Yeah.
But you never really say, oh, I'm good yet. You know?
No, but you like
I
you
still don't
kind of
think
go
I'm
like, all right, you enjoy it a lot, and then you go, it's worth like not taking like seriously, but like I'm gonna ride more. And, like comps coming up.
Yeah.
But that's basically the question. Did you ever have a point where you were like,
I'm going to invest more time into this.
Yeah.
Because it can take me.
I don't know. It wasn't like ever a decision where I wanted to invest more. It was like I was just always having fun, and like to me it was like all about friends. Like I was skating for my whole childhood, and it was at the skate park where I was that little smart ass kid that was good that everyone hated because I was a smart ass kid.
yeah,
And there was no skaters I could really ride with, and I loved scooters because I just made so many friends and like met all like the best people, and it was just fun times. And like it was never like I didn't want to do this, or like I just always wanted to spend all my time doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of always been like that. Like I haven't really thought, like I can't think of like a time where I just made an active decision to like go really hard, because I've kind of always wanted to, because it's just been so fun and I've loved filming, you know, like.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's always just been like kind of like life for me, you know.
I was always really bad at riding on my own, and that's when I realised very quickly that I only did it. Well, I loved riding because of the friends and the situations you end up in and the fun stuff, and like sometimes I had a couple of moments where I was like, I'm gonna go and try for this comp.
Yeah.
And you go for like half an hour of a session, you're like, I hate this. Where is everybody? I've got here I couldn't do it. And for me it was exactly the same. I was just like, it's just pretty sick, this. Like the community and everything, like
it's just
nothing like it until I got to that point.
Yeah, no. Like I just love like going like in school, like I was just the idiot who would bring my scooter to school and cop it all day. And like, and of course it was like a pink ace of spades too, like not helping myself in any regard.
So that's kind of how it all began. What's happening now for Justin / Juzzy Carter?
You called me Justin? Jeez.
You called you Justin
you think you've got
early
the privilege?
in the earlier videos. You were Justin.
Yeah, definitely. I did. I think I wanted. No, I don't know what I wanted.
So right, 2020. Is there anything? What's the What's coming? Have you got a second SIG deck at any point?
Yeah, there's something coming.
I like that answer. That sounds intriguing.
There's something coming. It's bigger. And
collab with one of the modelling agencies. Just a expensive deck.
You could have
and then to promote as the video, you could just do a fat catwalk. One of them ones.
Definitely. Like sick. Through down the bottom of the deck, it's just a runway. Oh, that's actually kind of sick idea.
There we go.
Yeah, that kind of works. No. There's gonna be some stuff coming for sure. And honestly, it's for the future. Like, I don't know. It's kind of always been the same.
I feel like you just like to live in the now. You like to travel, be with homies, and just see whatever the fuck happens.
The goal is always to just travel, like any traveling opportunity. Non-scootering wise, I'm at uni, so I want to finish my degree.
So you've got a lot going on.
Yes.
And what is it you study?
Film.
Film
and television. Yeah,
decent.
That's like my second big passion, just like movies and.
I love that. Yeah. Fair play.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
So you're very
modeling,
busy and active.
Uni, World Star.
That's every day, man.
Being a celebrity, having shit stolen,
alcoholic.
I'll tell you what then.
AA meetings.
So to wrap it up then, what would you say has been the highlight 2019 for you?
Oh wow, Coalition for sure. God, it's so hard. Actually, this year's just been so sick. I'm gonna say El Toro. El Toro was always a dream.
Was it first tee?
Yes,
surely it has to be.
It was first tee. Yeah.
When Dante told me that flip wasn't the first tee, I was like, "How?" You've done that twice.
He got out of it so well in the first one.
I've seen it.
Do or die normally, but yeah.
There's no way I could have, my scooter just got folded on that attempt. I was so lucky to roll away. I bought tilt forks 3 days before, and you know how strong tilt forks are, and they bent to the shit.
Yeah.
And bars were bent backwards, and the deck, you saw the deck, it was demolished. So that just surviving that, and it was a big thing. Corey Gessler, I think you might have known.
I was literally about to bring that up.
Yeah, he I only rode with him maybe 4 or 5 times. And he was just always such a nice dude. I had many friends who were just much closer with him, but I was always really inspired and super inspired by always seeing that infamous front scooter attempt.
Yeah, he chinned his bars. Didn't quite get it.
And he was the only Australian until now to ever actually tried it. So it was always just
oh really? I never considered that. Yeah.
So I was just and it just up there, just thinking it and thinking about him. I was just let's do it. And I was really stoked, just survive.
Yeah, of course.
You're staring at that run up and you're like, holy fuck.
It's just outdoor, isn't it? It's iconic.
Yeah.
It's a huge trick that you threw down.
Thousands have stood here and only hundreds have walked away.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we were talking about it, in fact, last night. Imagine facing something like that, whether it's a 10-hour battle or it's just this is do or die, essentially. Yeah. What do you do with yourself afterwards? How do you react to it? You've inwarded El Toro, right? You've done that. You've survived it. What's the rest of your day like?
I personally get a chocolate milk and just
sip it slowly. Just enjoy every fucking slurp of it.
It's so hard. Yeah. I mean, the do or dies, they're kind of rare, and personally for me, they're I don't like them. They feel great when you get them, but oh my god, they suck when you want to do them. Because it's just terrifying, and you just know everything that can go wrong. So, yeah, but it is really the best feeling because you just you escape death, and I guess that's kind of what the sport is.
Yeah, that's a good highlight. I mean, not many people can say that. So.
Yeah, that, but
in
also
fact, no one can say that because has anyone? You are the only guy to do an with Dan Arturo.
Yeah, well, I was just, it was such a nice coalition video. It was, but there's so much about this year that's been really fun, and I'm just super grateful, to Mad Gear. They've just been super great supporters to me, and just always allowed me to do my thing. There hasn't been too much expectation or whatever, and they've just always yep, do your thing. We're down for that, and then the same with the River and of course Syndicate. Homies.
I really think it's sick that just to back up to the earlier comment about Mad Gear, right? Asking how you made it cool. Mad Gear's always been sick. I'm not saying it hasn't, but I like that it was taken in such a different direction just by having you on board and you've stuck with them and stuff. And it really wasn't a case of, oh yeah, I really want to run a street brand now. It was I like this scooter. And it's comfortable. I like the relationship and stuff. I think it's just sick. I think it really does make the point that you said earlier, where it was like, just ride whatever you've got.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And it just never has to be a restraint or like an expectation or like a reason not to. But yeah, no, they've just always been so sick, and like they were, oh man, ever since that MGP SoCal tour video.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Well, not no, fuck the DVD, the trailer.
I was about to say the trailer.
Everything.
No one even saw the DVD. Like, it was so rare.
Fuck the DVD. The trailer was the thing.
The trailer was the one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm glad that and there's more stuff coming, and I'm glad that like that's continuing to the future.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that kind of thing's important. As much as you're just there to ride a scooter, I still think it makes a good statement in a way as like a byproduct. I think it's sick. I'm looking forward to it all.
Yep, me too.
I
mate.
appreciate it. No.
Me too.
Well, thanks for having me.
I've
been watching this shit, and it's sick.
It's like, what is it? It's 10 to 2.
10 to 2, and Terry's in his car freezing.
We've got the park comp tomorrow. You guys ready for some kicklesses? I'm down as hell.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Right. You need to get rest and do some stretch. Oh, you don't stretch.
You don't stretch.
Don't
do
stretch.
You? Yeah.
20 beers, then drop in.
I have an AA meeting at 8:30.
Fucking hell. Right.
Anyway, yeah. Cheers for coming.
Yeah,
dude. Absolute pleasure just to see you. Anyway, never mind feature you on this kind of thing. It's been good fun.
No, I appreciate it.
And we wish you the best, my dude.
Definitely, you guys too. Keep doing this.
Appreciate that, mate.
Peace. Let's get to bed.
Right. Good night. See you in a bit.
Nice cup of tea.
Cheers.